First award will be our most improved player. Most improved player is a difficult thing when you graduate 12 seniors. So we made this award to somebody who's improved and has gotten better as the season went on and ended up being one of our most
Hold it real steady, and when they walk up, you film them.
This player had, and I know this isn't a lot, but on a team that batted 218, this is pretty good. This player had 16 hits, he had an on-base percentage of 333. He only struck out 6 times, 2 times looking all year. He had 8 stolen bases and was not caught stealing once. Batted at the top of the order most of the year, and 2, 3, a couple other times. Had multiple clutch hits in some big spots. And for me, I think he got at least 6 to 8 that I can remember that were hit on the nose right at somebody in multiple situations with runners in scoring position. And he just got bad luck because it was right, the guy was in the right place at the wrong time. Most improved player this year is Grant Rosenberg. So, last year we had a new award that came out as the Wildcat Award. It's not doing anything, you know, obviously there's a lot of teams that have different awards, and they call it the Wildcat Award. Every year at the beginning of the year, during green days, we give out a piece of paper to the players, and they usually crumple it up, and I find it later as they're walking their cars. So they take it home, they put it on their, you know, dartboard, or some people actually read it and memorize it and, you know, play the game of baseball the way we expect them to play the game of baseball. It doesn't necessarily mean things that we're doing on the field. It doesn't necessarily mean things that we're doing in the dugout or what we're doing, you know, in the gym or in Patriot Park. These are things that we expect them to do from the day they start school next year until the banquet next year. We tell them you need to be there on time. You have to give effort every single day. We always expect positive body language. We always expect a positive attitude on the field. Be coachable, keep an open mind, put the team ahead of yourself. So this player, in the coach's minds, this player was the one who had one of those seasons where he was either on the bench or he played in the field. Sometimes we asked him to go play a position he hadn't played for in a while. Sometimes we asked him if he wanted, you know, he was just going to play the field. He wasn't going to hit because he was struggling to play. Not once did this person complain. This person texted me and called me in the middle of like a really rough part of the season and asked what he could do. He wasn't a captain on this team this year. He acted like a captain most of the year. You know, we didn't have a huge group. It was a raw group. You know, last year we graduated Trevor Larigo and a bunch of other guys who were crazy loud people when the inning's over. We didn't have a lot of guys this year that wanted to do that or knew to do that because they were so young. They didn't want to step on any toes. They didn't want to make us mad. This player did a really good job of keeping the team together, working hard all year, and never complained once when we asked him to do whatever we asked him to do. He would pick up the field, clean up the field before anyone else. He would text me and say what else needs to be done. This year's Wildcat Award winner is Mason Keys. All right, the next award is for the Offensive Player of the Year. Offensive Player of the Year, again, difficult thing to pull off when the team bats 218 as a team. Being said, this player, as the season went on, this player batted somewhere in the middle of our lineup. Sometimes he dropped down to 6, sometimes he dropped down to 5, sometimes 7, sometimes 8. By the end of the season, he hit 3 almost every single game or 4. One of the toughest outs in our lineup. I just had a conversation the other day with a college coach about him. And just explain that this is one of our toughest outs in the lineup. And to me, you know, I'm going through the same thing that everybody over here went through with, you know, SYA All-Stars and things like that. And I had a conversation with all the other SYA coaches about who are our toughest outs. Who are the guys that we have on this team to be our toughest outs? Because that's what's going to cause fits for the other team. In my mind, this was the toughest out in our lineup. You know, Graham was a very tough out. That's why he was our most improved player. By the end of the season, this is the one that they were pitching around more than anyone else. Highest batting average on the team, batted .296, had an on-base percentage of .356, 3 doubles, 7 RBIs, and he was the honorable mention catcher, which I thought he should have been second team. Banquet Wells. Last award is MVP. Our MVP this year, I'm just going to go over the stats real quick. Our MVP did not have the greatest year at the plate that he'd had in the past. He did, however, have one massive home run at Yorktown to crush the windshield of the car, which was pretty cool. Batted .279, 17 hits. Last year he was a freshman, so they kind of went right at him with a lot of seniors around them. And this year he didn't have that much around him, so they kind of pitched around him as much as they could. Did the best he could with those at-bats. Where he really was the MVP for us, I would say it would be on the mound. Stats this year on the mound, 48, those are Concord inning stats, I believe. 48 innings pitched, 5-3 record. In 48 innings, he only gave up 19 hits in 48 innings. He gave up 7 runs in 48 innings. His ERA was 1.01. Opponent's batting average was 117 against him. You know, when you go into a Concord district meeting, you talk about pitcher of the year, and your team's 5 and whatever we were at that time. It's very difficult to get someone on your team to be pitcher of the year, but I fought, because I promise you, there was not one other kid in that room who had those stats that entire year and was a bulldog on the mound the entire season. Our MVP this season is Michael Gambo. Last award of the night. Pitcher of the Year award. I just went over some really good stats for MVP on the mound. Let's talk about these stats as well. This pitcher had a 1.52 ERA this season. This might be the first time in the history of giving this award out that a pitcher could be 0-6 and be the pitcher of the year. He had a 1.52 ERA, 24 strikeouts, and 23 Concord district innings. 5 earned runs in those games. He was the most, the most unlucky pitcher, I think, of the season for this team. Logan Pelon went out and pitched in so many big games against the state runner-up and just shoved in every one of those games. And, you know, sadly, they wanted to. I know they all wanted for Logan because these guys love Logan. But sadly, you know, we just defensively and offensively couldn't get those runs when we needed to for him. But the way he pitched the entire season, keeping us in all the games that he could, 0-6 is just sad to me. It makes me feel terrible. But the stats, the other stats, the stats don't lie. Opponents batted .211 against him. He had, like I said, 5 earned runs, and he's by far our pitcher of the year, Logan Pelon.